Welcome back. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Man, do we have got a treat for you today. Not only am I reviewing Guy Gavriel's epic fantasy novel, Tigana, but we got floating daggers. I don't know if you can spot the floating daggers, but they're floating through the screen. Sort of. Might fall down any moment. Sticking my foot, cause an infection. Only bad things can happen with this thing dangling here. Only bad things can happen. We shall see. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's see if the magic sorcery can keep it floating there. Anyway, hey, let's talk about Tigana. Oh, first of all, you know we talk about the covers. Let's just get that out of the way first. This is a fantastic cover. This is the original cover of Tigana done by Mel Odom back in 1990. This is an original first edition from 1990, Mel Odom of Tigana. I got all the other Guy Gavriel Kay books up in my library upstairs. I did not want to drag them all down. You've seen them in my other videos, of my other Gavriel Kay videos that I've done. You know I ain't lying to you. They're up there. I love Guy Gavriel Kay. Tigana. Do I love it? Do I love Tigana? Let's just talk about this dude, Guy Gavriel Kay. Oh my gosh. Can this guy write a book or what? Is this guy like the pinnacle of epic fantasy literary fiction? I mean, the guy just is amazing. I mean, I read his stuff and I'm just like beside myself. Like, I read The Lions of Al-Rassan and I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy writes so much better than me and every other fantasy author. I feel like I just need to stop and quit. I will never achieve the greatness of Guy Gavriel Kay. I mean, it's actually depressing to read this guy. When you're a professional author and you know how hard it is to construct coherent sentences and string them together for 400,000 pages or words, 1,000-page books, every paragraph of this guy's, it's just gold. Every sentence gold, every bit of dialogue gold. Everything this guy touches is just magic. And if you watched my review of The Lions of Al-Rassan, you saw how I gushed about it. Well, I'm going to gush about it again. I also reviewed the Fëanor Tapestry, which was Guy Gavriel's first attempt at writing fantasy books. And those were okay. The Lions of Al-Rassan was magnificent. And Tigana is magnificent. Also, I want to kind of compare and contrast, though, the Lions of Al-Rassan with Tigana, because I think that there's good and bad, and well, there's good and there's just good everywhere. But let's just say there's better in the Lions of Al-Rassan a little bit, and then there's better in the Tigana a little bit. Where the Lions of Al-Rassan really succeeds is it's a lot more heavy with the action. Tigana is a slow burn. Tigana is a slow burn. What is Tigana even about, though? Let's talk about that. What is Tigana even about? Tigana is about a world ruled by two sort of evil guys. We've got, the land is cursed. It's kind of like, picture Renaissance Italy. Even the map that's in here sort of looks like Italy. Picture Renaissance Italy. And a land cursed by dark sorceries, and the people are living sort of in bondage, and they can't even really remember the past. Like, because in the past they lived in this beautiful land called Tigana. But the memory by dark sorcery has been sort of swept from them. It's washed from their minds, most of them. Some of them can glimpse bits and pieces of it, and they want it. But this sorcerer Brendan and this warlord Berico, they're kind of the rulers of the land now, and it's barbaric, it's dark. Sorcery kind of washes memories out of people's heads, but some people still kind of remember how things used to be, but they can't even remember the name of their once beautiful land, which was Tigana. And so that's the setup of the thing, is we've got these two sort of rulers. One's sort of a barbaric, he's kind of a warlord, and that's Alberico. And then Brendan is sort of a stark sorcerer. And they kind of rule, it's a contentious rule, they rule equally, but it's contentious, and neither one of them wants people to remember how awesome things used to be, because, you know, that's the way evil rulers are. You know, they don't want people to go back to the happiness, you know, the happiness and democracy and freedoms that they once had. They can only barely remember. And so once in a while, someone will say the name Tigana, and it will sort of bring it back. You know, it will sort of bring back those memories. And so there's a band of rebels get together, and it's sort of a quest to reclaim what was once Tigana, to gain those memories back and find Tigana. And it's really just kind of heavy on plot to get there. You know, there's no like quest, there's no like Fellowship of the Ring. We don't go off on an adventure. We don't do it. There's not a lot of, there's some political intrigue, but it's not as heavy-handed as, say, Game of Thrones. It's really just an introspective kind of slow burn fantasy where we just get to know the characters, and we get to know this landscape and this world that Gavriel Kay has built, and how awful it can be, but yet how great it once was. And the beauty of Gavriel Kay's language to get us there is what the book is really built on. I mean, this was a classic. I remember when this came out in 1990. It was an instant fantasy classic. People were just like, wow, this is like somebody finally took fantasy and made it into literary fiction. That's what we're really dealing with here. It's like, it's you know, before Gavriel Kay, we had Sword of Shannara, we had Dragonlance, we had all these, you know, Conan the Barbarian, Thieves' World, you know, the Belgariad, Raymond Feist. We had a lot of just sort of adventure fiction. Young teenage boy adventure fiction, and Gavriel Kay came along with this Tigana. Just blew everybody's minds. Just blew everybody's minds with the eloquent writing style, and just how well put together by a professional, right? A book that's just put together by a professional. And not to say that those other books aren't professional, because they're certainly awesome, and I've reviewed all of them, and you know I love every single one of those. I'm just saying that Gavriel Kay is on another level, man. I mean, there is like great writing, and then there's Gavriel Kay, who's just better. And so that's kind of like what we're reading this book for, is this story of these rebels that slowly plot to overthrow the warlord and the sorcerer and regain their memories, and just the memories, and then the physical part, and just regain Tigana. And you know, here's the thing: is there's a lot of morally gray characters. You know, even our heroes are not that heroic all the time, and even our supposedly evil warlords have kind of a reason to be. They kind of have reasons to do what they're doing, and you kind of feel for them. I mean, our dark sorcerer Brendan, he's even got like he even falls in love, and you really kind of fall for him. And by the way, this is R-rated. There's a lot of sex scenes in this. Probably more sex scenes in this than a lot of fantasy novels, to be honest with you. You know, it's just a breathtaking book. It's kind of a lot along the lines of Pat Rothfuss, A Name of the Wind, where you're going to read, and wonder when the sword fights are going to happen, wonder when the great big battles are going to happen. And that's not what you're reading this book for. You're reading this book for more of a introspective quest, great writing, great storytelling, great dialogue, people talking about things that matter. You know, they're trying to regain their memories. They're not looking for any magical talismans, anything like that. So if you can go into it knowing that, you're going to be in for a great read, because you're just going to be blown away with how well this guy writes. And not every fantasy adventure needs to have the adventure part. Although there is that. There's the intrigue. There's the betrayals, the backstabbings, the drama, the relationships, the love triangles. There's all of that. All of that's combined in this. And I really loved it. Now, I've got to say though, I think that if I was to recommend at this point, I've read everything Gavriel Kay has done. I have reread 5 of his novels now. So I've reread The Lions of Al-Rassan, the 3 novels in the Fayanavar Tapestry, and Tigana. If I was to recommend somebody to start a Gavriel Kay novel, I would not recommend Tigana. I would recommend The Lions of Al-Rassan, because that's got a lot more fantasy trappings that people enjoy. Although Tigana is a very, very good piece of literature. I mean, I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10. That's how awesome it is. That's how much I like it. I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I read this guy's stuff and I'm just like, oh man, I gotta just stop writing because I can't do it as well as this dude. Can't do it. This guy better than me. Dude's better than me. It's a work of genius. Work of genius. Tigana. Ten out of 10. Yo.